Welcome back to the continuing saga of ELM preparation, part 19. We're going to look at factoring again this time. We looked at factoring in part 18. So let's look at common factors of binomials. And lots of times finding common factors between two terms is very useful. So let's say we have 3a squared b plus 6ab squared. And they tell you to factor this or reduce it or somehow, for whatever reason, we want common factors. So the first thing I do is I put a bracket around the whole thing. Then I'm going to take each term and see what I can divide it by. Both terms same. Well, I look at my numbers. They're both divisible by 3. So if I divide by 3, I'm going to bring 3 out front. Notice that 3 divided by 3 is 1. Remember, multiplying anything by 1 does not change the value, only the appearance. I also look at a squared and a. I have an a here, so I'm going to divide by a here. Notice I could not divide by a squared because I only have one a here. So I'm going to take the lowest number of a's out. I have a b and a b squared. The smallest b is b to the 1, so I'm going to divide both of them by b. I divided by a and I divided by b. All right, so my outside is this here, 3ab, that's my common, times whatever's left inside. 3 divided by 3 is 1. This a takes one of those away. This b takes that one away. And I'm left with a plus 6 divided by 3 is 2. The a's canceled out. I'm left with 1b on top. So that is what's left inside. So my common factor was 3ab, and the remainder was a plus 2b. This is a common type of factoring you will find in some of your questions and in some of the math approaches to factoring quadratic equations, but I'm not going to cover that here. I just want you to look at the fact of what am I doing to find a common factor. Okay, so if I have 2/3 and I multiply the top by 3 and the bottom by 3, I'm essentially just multiplying by 1. 2 times 3 is 6, 3 times 3 is 9, and these are equivalent fractions. They don't look the same, but they are equal. This is really 2/3 and this is 2/3. So multiplying by 1 only changes the appearance, not the value. All right, let's go back to 4a squared b to the minus 2 plus 8ab. Okay, so the first thing I do to find a common, I'm going to bracket this whole thing, the whole quantity. Then I'm going to look at dividing each of the parts inside. There's one and there's one. Well, what am I looking for? I'm looking for a common. So I look at my numbers first. This is divisible by 4 and that's divisible by 4, so I bring a 4 out front. A squared and a, I've got one a here and two a, so I'm going to take out one of the a's. Now the b is problematic here because this is a minus and this is a plus. So the question is, this is the lower, but actually this is 1 over b squared. So common here, I'm trying to think of the best way to express this, and I probably should have spent time beforehand, but I'm going to do this. I'm going to take a b to the minus 2, divide that, and a b to the minus 2 here. Now notice this is the smaller number of b's. It's a negative number of b's. This is a positive, so I divided this smaller amount. Okay, so out front we have the common 4a b to the minus 2. Now I don't expect you to have a problem like this, but if it does show up, you will be prepared. So 4 divided by 4 is 1. I had 1a down here and 2 up here, so I'm left with 1a. I have b to the minus 2, b to the minus 2, that is just 1, so I'm done with that term. 8 divided by 4 leaves me with 2, I'm done with the number. a divided by a is 1, so 1 times 2 is just 2. Here's the tricky part. I've got b over minus 2. If I want this to be I could write that as b over b to the minus 2, but actually what this is saying is this is on the wrong floor. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to add 2 to make that a 0, and I'm going to add 2 up here. So this now will be a b cubed, and this is b to the 0, which is just 1, and anything over 1 is just itself. So now I've got my common factor, and I've got what's left over inside. Like I say, this is an unusual problem. I don't think you will see this kind of problem on the ELM test. However, if it crops up, you know what to do. You divide out the lesser letter. Well, minus 2 is less than 1, so I divided by the minus 2. Minus 2 divided by minus 2 is just 1. And then I had this situation, I had this minus 2 down here, and I didn't know what to do with it. I could have written it inside as b over b to the minus 2, but this is improper. I would have had to rationalize this, and I would have had to do this anyway. So I just said, well, let's turn this one into b to the 0. So I added 2 b's there, I added 2 b's there, and I end up with a b to the 3 as my final inside portion. Like I say, I don't expect you to come across something like that. All right, so let's say I have 3 terms. 3a squared plus 2ab minus 2ac. All right, so here we are with 3 terms. Again, I'm going to look at each individual term to see what I have in common. Well, I've got a 3, a 2, and a 2. Unfortunately, the numbers are not common to each other, so there's nothing I'm going to do with those. I have an A, an A, and an A. I have A's in all of them. I have 1A, 1A, and 2A, so I'm going to take the lesser number of A's out. I have a no B here, I have a B here, and no B here, and I see nothing I can do. The rest of the letters are staying behind. So I divided by A, so I'm going to bring that outside to multiply by it. I had 1A here, that took away one of those. I had 2, those went away, so I have A outside, and I had 3A left in there, plus 2B minus 2C. So the only thing in common in this group of 3 were the A's, and I factored out as many as I could. Unfortunately, I only had 1A to take away here and 1A here. Even though there were 2 A's here, I have to take the lesser number of A's out. So whatever I divided by, I multiplied out front, and there's my factor. Now, on occasion, they will give you something where nothing will come out. Do not feel bad about that. Well, if I factor this, I get my brackets, and there's nothing between the numbers that's common. I got an A here, but no A here. I got a B here, but no B here. C, nothing I can do. It's just going to stay that. On rare occasion, you might have a question like that. Be prepared that your answer may not have any common factors. All right, I see we've run out of time again. Time really flies when we're having fun. This is James E., and we're talking about ELM prep. Hope this was informative, and this was factoring common terms out of a binomial or a trinomial. And have a good day.